This video is made for adult collectors because involuntary parts forming.
Oh God, look at those. Oh, that doesn't look good.
So, the new Sideburn mold debuted with Shadow Striker, a Cyberverse-inspired remake of the original Universe toy. And after getting her at TF Nation, I really wanted to try out the original, so the other month at a convention, I bought the red one, and then the seller just gave me the blue one for free. Like, he's like, here, just take this. I was like, God damn, thank you, dude. So now I have 3 of the mold concept, and yeah, kinda like the new one, a little bit better. One of the big concerns people have with the new one is the clear roof, and how, cause it's clear, it's scary. But let me tell you, the original is so much scarier, oh my god. This is Sideburn and Red Sideburn. Both of them look neat, spitting images of their show models, cause they were toy first and then show second. But they look really nifty. I'm a huge fan of asymmetry, and this does a pretty bang up job at that. The new one kind of sort of lacks that interesting asymmetry in like the arms and stuff due to the more stable transformation, but honestly, I'd rather that. I also like on the new one how everything sort of cleans up nicer and isn't flopping all over the place, and the lack of ball joints, because over time, both the blue and the red one have suffered from that because of their age. I have thickened them, and they've immediately deteriorated again. So, yeah, fun. Though the old one has much nicer shoulders to manage. I love the little gold details, and the sculpting on the old one really feels like an early 2000s toy to me, and it takes me back to that time period. It's great. And it's a nice size too. He comes with 2 guns, a bumper missile launcher.
That was underwhelming. There we go.
And he also has a gun mounted on his ass, which he can hold in his hand, obviously. Whereas the new one only comes with a gun and her shield, which is a separate piece, so you can take it off entirely if you don't like it. I do wish the new one found a way to tuck the gun in with the bumper into the alt mode like the old one. That would have alleviated a lot of people's concerns about parts forming. Though the old one parts forms by itself, the amount of times the bumpers just pump right off. The new one has the ability, though, to use her gun as a sword, which is sick. Because she just has one in the show, and that, like, I like the way that looks a lot. It feels like a lightsaber.
So we'll start with the new one because the old one's it's rough. So the posing of this, the head is on a ball joint, but the ball joint isn't in the head. It's in the neck going into the body. So it moves a tiny bit awkwardly when she looks down. You can't tilt because of that, but you know, it can rotate. Also, it is quite a nice head sculpt. I forgot to mention that. The shoulders are, okay, so if you've ever messed with like an older Marvel Legend or DC type toy and you know what a Y joint is for the hips, where instead of the hip being a universal joint that goes this way and this way, right? So it can go in and out and forward and back. A Y joint is just straight up. So you have to like twist the thigh and then the hip around to get the leg to move forward, or do it to get it to move out. The shoulders work like Y joints basically. So they're forward and back, right? They go forward, they can go back, and do all that stuff. But then in order to like move out, they swivel at this joint here, and then they move forward. But when they move forward, you can't move them down now. So you have to like maneuver them to be able to now do this, but now they can't go in and out. They're very oddly designed. I understand why they had to do it this way because of how it transforms, but they are a strange shoulder design. They're like Armada Megatron's shoulders, but just not in a thing. So they're very weird, but they're basically like Y-jointed shoulders. You have a bicep rotation. You have a single jointed elbow that bends at 90 degrees. You have a wrist joint. That's a nice surprise. These little cape sections can move out of the way, the coattails, to accommodate for waist rotation. The legs are on universal, so they can go forward, back, in, and out. You have thigh rotation. You have a single jointed knee that bends 90 degrees, and then the feet can move up and they can tilt like all of the way. So she's actually very posable once you get used to how the shoulders are supposed to work, and then you can get it into some like really nice dynamic things. Also, this is on a double hinge, and because it's on a 5mm peg, you can spin it if you want to. So that's that, right? I also like it this way, so just pointing that out there in case someone goes, it's upside down. Now we bring the old one in. Oh boy. So let's remove the gun, and there he goes. So balance is a bit of an issue on the old one. Not a bit. It's quite an issue on the old one, especially if you get a used copy. Because this, how does your foot rotate? It's just loose everywhere. He fell over. So the head can rotate. It is on the same type of ball joint where it goes into the neck, not into the head, but it can look up that far. It can't look down at all, whereas Shadow Striker could look down, but not up. The shoulders are on ball joints, regular ball joints, so they can do whatever, basically. This is on a hinge and a ball joint. You have a full range at the elbow due to the transformations. This shoulder can only go out about that far due to the bumper. He does have a waist joint. It does rotate. It's a little stuck on mine, but there you go. It does rotate. Hips are on ball joints. They go forward that far, back that far, in and out. No thigh rotation. That's out of focus. He does have double jointed knees due to transformation, and the swivel is actually here, right? So you kind of bend it like this to be able to get the swivel, but once you bend that part, he's just broken his leg. It's like Combiner Wars Hotspot's shoulders, but just at his knees, and then his feet can go down and go up, and you have like the tiniest of pivot because they're on ball joints. And then these bits, they can move up and down. They're on ball joints and the doors can open and close.
If I had to pick one based on robot mode alone, I would probably go with the new one on the basis that, yes, the shoulders are weird, but it feels a lot more solid. The plastic feels nicer. The joints and the posing is just a lot smoother than the original. The original has its charm, but the new one just kind of wins for me in its solidity.
So I think for transformation, we'll do the new one first again to show you how nice and clean that is. And then we'll do this monstrosity. So it's not that bad. So to start with this one, the first thing you're going to want to do, I'm going to leave this on. I'm not going to take it off. You can take it off if you want to, but I'm going to leave it on because I want to show you you can. So the first thing is you take the knees, click them into place, and then you fold the feet up, and then that's the legs pretty much done for now. Then you're going to want to take this entire back assembly here and pull it up on this like triple, quadruple style hinge thing. So it looks like this. I'm actually going to move this up. There we go. That's what she looks like. So then you want to take the chest section right here and push it out, and out will pop the front end of the car, a little flap here as well. And then you take the arms, we're going to bring them up like this, just for now. Just to, you know, that's the weirdest looking T-pose you've ever seen in your life. Then we're going to take these panels, fold them out, and then bring these up. Then you take the legs, and they will peg into the side here and underneath. So you just go in at the side, and then underneath, side, and then underneath. I can't see what I'm doing because I'm not getting the peg in on this. There we go. And then underneath, get in, haha. And then you take the front end of the car, push it into place. Now these arms right here, there are pegs. There are pegs and ports. So you fold that down and in, and it will sit into place. Just get everything squeezed in there. Bring all this in, peg it into place, close the doors, and then just take this section, double hinge it down, like so. It will peg in like that. Then you want to take the bumper section and you plug it in right here, and that's going to hold everything back there together. Oh boy, okay. So, get the entire torso basically out of the way. So open this up like that, bring this section down, rotate the waist, bring it that way, and then bring the waist back. This section is now up. We are going to bring this out at this hinge here. Oh, it's getting caught. Rotate this shoulder assembly, and this is the difficult bit. 180 degrees. There we go. It's around. Aha. And then you want to fold the arm up like this. It will peg into the shoulder, bring it in, and that peg will go into there. So you just get it stuck into place. Rotate the bumper around without falling off. You can see, look at the paint chipping. Look at that. That wasn't from me. That was from the previous owners. It was used. You bring this down, then the head will fold into this little cavity here, and you bring this up. Now we're gonna get these sort of just situated. Get that out of the way. Fold these down, fold up the bumper into place. That's the front of the car done. Then you bring this section over like this. This will then clip into, well, before we do that, let's get the feet folded up and in. And the gun can stay stored, which is really nice. And you just like bring this, clip that into place, peg this into place here, get the door situated, and then take the gun. Now it has to be this way. All right, the peg's got to be sticking up like that. And this will peg straight into his gooch. So you just line that up, and it will peg into the back as well to keep it all in place. Kind of like the new one. And that's the Dodge Viper. That transformation is not as nice to do as this one, because this one you got to like push tires past things. I'm honestly surprised none of the tires have cracked on my copy. It's insane. But yes, I do prefer the new one's transformation over the old.
So there will probably be some front-end retooling for the new Sideburn version of Shadow Striker's mold, but the cars here, the old one definitely wins. While the transformation is a tad bit of a pain, everything fits into place. I've seen people struggle with the new one getting the roof tabbed in, and while I haven't had that problem, it does exist. On mine though, if it starts to happen, it means that the shield on the 5mm peg isn't rotated correctly, because if it's a millimeter off, it won't seat, and it's annoying. But the Viper is so much more satisfying to hold. Like, I don't know, it just feels like a Viper model you'd buy at a shop randomly, or like at a car show. It's still plasticky like the new one, but somehow it just feels a little bit nicer, and man, does it ever look good in red. The old one does have rubber tires as well, which, yes, is nice, but due to age, they're gonna crack and wither away. So while rubber is nice, I'll gladly take the plastic wheels. And the old one has much better weapon storage, though the missile just kind of sticks out like a poo. It's just a poo. The car mode definitely goes to the old one for me. Only time will tell if the new one does retool the front and look like a Viper or not, but we shall see. But if I had to pick one I like more so than the other, it's the new mold. It just squeaks ahead just a little bit. It just feels a tiny bit more solid and refined, and that's why I like it. It looks great just standing there, and with the addition of a melee weapon, it can be a lot more versatile, and her posing's pretty great. The old one's still neat on its own, just gotta watch out for those clear bumper, back wing, shield, etc. I've heard so many horror stories. But that's been my look at both Sideburn molds, technically. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.